Hello, good morning. Thank you for attending my meeting. Hope you all are well rested and we're ready for what today has in store for us. Got some coffee. Business as usual. Got the calendar. It's still stuck on June. What is going on around here? It's a week into July. Maybe I should go ahead and turn the page on the calendar, right? What is today? Today's Wednesday, July 8th. Wobblin Wednesday. Oh my goodness, where have I been? I've been hanging out with a new friend. Last week, we went ahead and pulled out the cat. So this one was a Hobby Lobby $5.99 crochet kit. Crochet kit cat. And I noticed that, you know, the Michaels ones, like the beetle, has little names on it. I think her name was Brianna. Brianna? I don't know. The cat is so cute, but it has no name. So when Yarn Chicken went ahead and said that she would be next, I asked you guys, what do you think her name should be? Well, my good friend Roxanna, she said Patch, for the little eye patch. And I mean, every time I see a cat and a fish, I think of ships and how ships used to have cats on them, and pirate ships and Patch. It's an adorable name. Michelle over at Michelle Plays Hooky. Have you seen her channel? Have you went to her house to visit her? You need to go visit Michelle. Michelle's linked in the description box below. Go throw some yarn in her window. Tell her I said hi. Michelle says Peaches. That's a cute name for a cat. I could see Peaches. Or Muffy. Every time I think of Muffy, I think of that little Sanrio bunny character, Muffy. But that's that's a little short nickname for a muffin. And cats always baking those biscuits, those little muffins. I like that name. But then later she said, what about Fishabella? Like Isabella, but Fishabella. I like it. It sounds like a sitcom name, like a novella. Yeah, that's a cute name. Fishabella. Paige, over at Paige Loves Pumpkins. Have you had a chance to sit and visit an adventure with Paige? Paige is always on an adventure. She's always taking us to the great outdoors and traveling around and showing us something new. Paige has a lot of crafty ideas, and she keeps them on the small side most of the time, which sings to my heart, right? I love the itty bitty hook and the tiny little projects. Last year, since so many people are into this Christmas in July, Paige had an advent calendar. It was just a tiny little matchbox tree that she had embroidery thread in, and she's crafting on that one. It's older content, but hey, go check out a playlist. Crochet from the past. Paige said Akiko. It's an adorable name. I like that one. Well, I also liked working the pattern. This was a good pattern. I didn't have any complications with it at all. I did not use the hook that they told me to use the hook. And in the instructions, it clearly says you will suffer the consequences if you don't use the hook that we tell you to use. But it was like one of those little plastic ones. And I mean, I got a polymer clay shed hook that I love to use. So I used my D polymer clay shed hook. I made a lot of scribbles and notes, but absolutely no corrections. Everything was spelled correctly. When I get to a row and it says like do multiple rounds, I put little check boxes, and as I, pass my stitch marker, I put a little check in it. So I don't actually have to keep count of anything, and I don't have to go back and try and recount all my rows. So that made it easy for me, but that's all my notations are. They did use a color code on here for CA is white, was it CB is brown, so color A, color B, color C, CC was pink purple and CD was pink blue, which they could have just put blue or pink or something like that. So I had to go back and write it down into the sections I was working. There was one part on the arms. I was supposed to make the arms white and then the other part was pink, like her little shirt. I ran out of white, and I know exactly where I ran out of white. When I first started the pattern in the top of the head, I tried to use that funky white hook, and when I tried to rip out the yarn, it's that Crochet Kit yarn, that super thin sticky stuff, and it wouldn't rip out. So I had like this little magic circle started piece that, that's where I lost my yardage. I would have had exactly enough, but this is what I have left for my dolly snake. They did give me an extra eyeball. That's always good. After a bunch of those, I'll end up with a set. I had extra fluff and stuff, and you know what I'm really learning about myself? I don't use enough fluff and stuff. I really need to pack it in there. Like, I do sit and I re-fluff, but I don't pack my amigurumis tight enough. And I think over time, over the years of being loved, the cotton's gonna, well, the acrylic or whatever is gonna end up like smashing itself back down, and it's gonna be too loose in there. But you know, I don't know. It is what it is. Let's see, what do I got in the bottom of here? Oh, I do have a little of the fishy color left. Just a tiny little ball. Put that into Dolly. When I put them into Dolly, I want to put those two colors together. That's just, I love those two colors. It's antique-y. They had a little plastic needle. And I had my baby toenail clippers with me. I pick these up at Dollar Tree when I see them occasionally. When I used to go there. I don't really go there anymore. I kind of miss it. There's a lot of go-to items that I used to go there for. Especially these little clippers. So there's nothing sharp to damage my projects bags. I don't have to worry about my yarn or anything getting tangled in it. They kind of, you know, they're kind of safe somewhat. And they hook on a keychain, so I attach them to the inside of my loops on my project bags usually. And that way I don't have to chew on my yarn to get it apart when I'm on the go. All right, what'd I make? So I worked on her on an overnight shift, and somewhere along the line, don't know where, I lost her facial features. The nose and the eyes, these dots on the box. The pattern didn't tell me exactly where to put the eyes or where to sew on the patch, and I wanted to sew on the patch and put the eyes on before I stuffed the head. So I was kind of trying to count with my pen how many spaces apart, which was 10, and how many spaces down. It was between 10 and 11 is what I guesstimated, and it worked out just fine. But on the back in the included was a little piece of black embroidery thread. I can't say Needle Creations, you didn't put it in there, because they might have. I've had this kit for a while. I think I've ripped this kit out and looked at it and shoved it all back in the bag, and I was on the go when I started it. I worked on it in the car a little bit, and I worked on it on I finished it up on an overnight shift. As far as by the time it got to the overnight shift, I didn't have any black embroidery thread, and I just realized it now that I'm sitting here chatting it up with you this morning. Yeah, she's quiet type. And I'm noticing it's not the San Andreas fault, it's all those decrease rounds. Sometimes I look at patterns and it doesn't flow, you know, mathematically, like decrease 4, decrease 5, decrease 6, you know, backward, 6, 5, 4, 3, you know, to get your decrease rounds. And they're stacked decreases. And then sometimes every other round will be solid, which elongates your decrease. But a lot of times it'll say like stitch 2 or an odd number and then decrease, and then it falls into your pattern, and it throws them off just a little bit so that they don't do this I don't know, it's almost like a hexagon shape. Oh, there's a good picture of it. See how all those, it's very pretty that the decreases spiral out like that. Very pretty. I did well. I followed the pattern because you can see a pattern in the decreasing, but you want it to be flawless. You don't really want to see those sort of things. And maybe after I get the embroidery little nose and the whiskers on there, you won't be able to see it. Ran out of white, but I thought, hey, it's a calico kitty, it's okay. The tail was supposed to be all white and then the tip of brown. By the time I got to here, I thought I was crocheting a cigarette. You know those late night conversations you have in your head? She's cute. She's absolutely adorable. I actually should have went down a size in the hook. I think you can see it better on camera, but I could have scrunched down. But you know, different yarn behaves differently when you're doing the amigurumi and the small hooks. I was using my D, which was a very good comparison in size to that plastic white hook that they have. But if I would have went down a half a size or a bit more, this yarn wouldn't be able to bloom. So after you crochet and you're crocheting tight, sometimes it stretches out all those fibers and lines them all, and then you can see the gaps even more. So sometimes going down in hook size isn't the solution for those holes. And I really didn't stuff her very well. I should have put all that fiber fill in here. Her body feels a little bit more solid. Again, you're gonna see all those holes if you overstuff them. I didn't overstuff her. So I don't know, I just think it's that Crochet Kit yarn behaving the way it behaves, right? She's got a little fishy bag. I did, it said to attach just to tie, but I made like a little bow on her fishy bag. I think the fish should have two little like X eyes. Little details. I'll definitely go back and do that one. I think that should be a great candidate to go with me to the market in November. That it's in the back of my mind. I'm still working on it. I've committed to it. I have the booth reserved, but I need to focus on what I'm going to make and take. And it doesn't need to be a whole lot of stuff. It just really some fun items that I work on. I'm not putting a number in my head that I have to have this many of this and this many of that. I know I want to take the Bag O' Day crochet toddler dresses in rainbow colors and a few different sizes. I just told myself a few different sizes. Maybe two of each size, from itty bitty 12 to 8, not even 12 months. 12 months are about walking. They're twirling dresses, so you gotta at least be walking. But I think smaller things like this would be fun to take too. No pressure though. If I make them, I make them. I have a bag over in the corner that when things are 100% complete, after I get, you know, the details on her, I've just been putting the things in the bag, and then by the time, you know, a couple weeks before the fair or the market comes around, I can go through my bag and say, oh, I had quite a few more things than I thought I did. That was pressure free. So I think she should go. I think she could find a child there, someone to love on her. Nose, whiskers, and eyes. But I'm done with her. I'm ready to move on. So let's go over to the Yarn Chicken and pull out a Wobblin' Wednesday for this week, all right? Let me go set your seat up. I'll be right with you. Okay, I'm ready. I got you all set up. And look, I've revamped the Yarn Chicken. So I used to have multiple kit suggestions in quite a few of the capsules, the prize capsules. I went through all the prize capsules, and I might have, I don't know, I might have made it more difficult for us. I don't know. We'll see. Can I scooch up a little more? There you go. I used to have multiple kit suggestions in each capsule. I went through and I just put one. unless it was an official suggestion from the Wobblin's crochet book. Those capsules still have multiple suggestions in them because they were broken down by chapter. So we got a lot more. We've refilled. It represents how many kits I still have hiding in the closet. All right, let's go. Let's see what we get today. I'm excited. I've got a busy week, so I'm going to be spending quite a bit of time in the car. So I definitely need a really, really good kit this week. Something that'll make a character to keep me company. Yes, I talk to my crochet as I'm working on it. I do. I get to know them. They get to know me, you know, as the creator. Okay, we got one. We got one purple capsule, I think. It's not over till it's over, right? I've lost them in the last second before. All right, it's a purple. And I can see inside the lid already, it says Amazon. So some of them, we might not have those clues anymore because I've just grabbed capsules and refilled. Let's see. One slip of paper from Amazon. It was an Amazon purchase. Let's see. Witch Girl. Oh, a Witch Girl. I think I know exactly which one this is. I'm going to run over to the closet and pull it out, and I'll meet you back at the chair, okay? See you in just a few minutes. All right, I'm back. Oh, you're really far away. There we go. Okay, so the Witch Girl is one of these beginner crochet kits off of Amazon that I purchased last year. And it was just a cheapy kit. And I was like, all right, let's do the variety. So the brand is GXXX. It's a DIY handicrafts. And there are quite a few patterns in the kit. And here is the witch. So that's the witchy girl. And there's a QR code on the back of this, and it says the crochet tutorial of witch. So there might be some online assistance. Inside here, I do see some, just glancing, I see some verbiage. So this is the one that I'm pulling out. And so the kit just has a bunch of crochet kit yarn. I'll have to go through and dig out what colors. So they gave me a palette of colors. I've made one from here already. I don't exactly remember which one it was. It was very early on in the Yarn Chicken fun on Wobblin Wednesday. I'll have to go through the kit, pull out the palette that I need, and make sure that I save the rest of the colors because I need it for the rest of the kits. Look at that fluff and stuff. Oh my goodness. That is going to be so satisfying to crack that open and let the air. I see a packet of utensils. There's a glue stick, some snips, lots of eyes, stitch markers, and your typical plastic needle. Yeah, okay. I'll see you next Wednesday. I'm gonna start this adventure, and fingers crossed that DIY handicrafts crochet kit for beginners is legitimate. I don't know. Let's do this. It says that their address is in Threadneedle Street, London, United Kingdom. Made in China, manufactured by, long name letters don't seem to be pronounceable to me, Technologies in Shenzhen, Guangdong, China. We'll see. I don't know. Potential's there. She's a cutie pie. I'll see you next week with cutie pie being done. All right, or to the best of my ability. If I'm not able to work the pattern, I will come up with something to use the yarn and work her up in her as close to likeliness as possible. All right, again, fingers crossed. See you later.